Welcome in everybody to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. It's time to look ahead. The first look ahead of the NFL season. I'm so excited. Are you excited? I'm pumped up. You should be pumped up. I know Andrew Erickson, the Undertaker, is pumped up because we're going to fly through the games here, give you our first look at these lines. Later in the week, we're going to have more in-depth looks at the props for the individual players on our shows. We're going to have our best bets of the week. We're going to have some fun data analytics conversations around wagering with Sam Hoppin. So we are jam-packed here at Betting Pros with the most amazing content you could possibly imagine. But today's the fun show. Today is the most fun because it's our first instincts on the first games where, basically chaos, right, Erickson? That week one, typically things happen that you don't see coming. Maybe we'll identify a couple moments where that might happen. But this is where it all begins. Andrew Erickson, are you ready to start the race?
I'm ready to go. Let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off, baby. And by the way, as we continue to kick off NFL season, don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook, right now, incredible offer. If you're a new customer, bet $5, get $200 instantly in bonus bets, plus you enjoy NFL Plus Premium on them. What? Free money and NFL Plus Premium on them. Sign up today at bettingpros.com/DraftKings. Make your first deposit and bet $5, get $200, and stream more football. That sounds amazing. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Let's start with the opener. Let's go. Kansas City. The champs are here again. Back-to-back for the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, last year did not get off to the start that they wanted. The Lions are a lot pluckier than people realize, and they were ready for prime time after all. This time to get the Baltimore Ravens, a team that they beat in their own building in the playoffs on their journey to the Super Bowl. So a little bit of a grudge match to start the year off. I love this. Of course, not a lot of, movement here in terms of what you might expect. Two great teams, -3 on the Kansas City side. That's what you're getting right now on Betting Pros. 46.5 is the total. And if you like Baltimore for the upset, you're getting plus 130. Erickson, I don't know about you. I don't see a whole lot of value on this game, except potentially maybe the under, which is going to surprise people. But I think early in the season, sometimes teams are a little sluggish out of the gate. So maybe this one might disappoint from a total standpoint. That's my big lean for this one. But where do you see it?
I agree. If you look at what the Chiefs did when they were at home last year, they had one game go over at Arrowhead Stadium. One game last year. They were a team that focused more on their defense because we knew they had offensive struggles. I don't think we're going to see as many unders in Arrowhead this year because they added a ton of explosive playmakers to their offense. So we're going to see more fireworks from Patrick Mahomes and company. But like you said, first game of the year, Lamar Jackson and company, they haven't played in the preseason at all. So the Chiefs have been throwing their starters out there because they're ready to hit the ground running with their team, where we might see the Ravens come out a little bit more sluggish. So for me, I think that Chiefs with 3 makes the most sense, but I would probably want to play the under on the total.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going anywhere near the 3 myself. I'm just going to go the under there, especially style of play too. You got that new toy with Derrick Henry. You want to run the Derrick Henry as much as you can. And we all know that John Harbaugh likes to slow down the pace of a lot of those kind of games too. So let's go to, slow down the pace. You keep the ball to Patrick Mahomes' hands. You actually keep this one. Maybe you do cover the 3. Let's go to the next standalone game. Erickson, how great is this? We got standalone football Thursday and Friday. I love this. This one's on the Peacock, Green Bay and Philadelphia. This is what we're going to call it this year. I just putting it out there. What? It's the name of it's the network. It's fun, All right. So Philadelphia, 2.5-point favorites in this one against the Green Bay Packers, a team that was very good last year. Jordan Love came on strong. You're getting minus 118 on the Philly side here, minus 102 on the Green Bay side. The total for this one, a little higher, 48.5. And then you got plus 125 on Green Bay for the upset, which, to tell you the truth, Erickson, this one kind of interests me on the plus money side, straight up money line for Green Bay. You're shaking your head yes, so I feel like you and I are kind of seeing the same Jordan Love potential here in this game.
I think that these teams are more evenly matched than the lines would suggest, that the Eagles should be, close to a field goal favorite. Again, this isn't a home game. This is being played in Brazil in a neutral field. So right. Weird stuff just happens. So if I'm going to put my money, I'll rather put it on a team that I think is pretty much just as good as the Eagles. Maybe not on paper, but can the Packers beat the Eagles? Of course they can. They were the team that made it farther in the NFC playoffs last year. So I think that the Packers are the best value here. And like you said, just take them on the money line.
Question for you, with the international travel here too, a lot of those international games sometimes play the under. This is an actual higher total here, 48.5 in that first one, and we like the under in that one. Do you have any love for that? Because it seems like that would also make sense. The travel you have to do, the system still getting in place. You got new coordinators over there for the Eagles too. People trying to figure things out still. What do you make of the under potential in this game? Can you make a case for it?
Yeah, I think that that's exactly what you should be doing. Last year, this is exactly how things kind of shook out. The unders were smashing really early in the year until the lines and books adjusted to lower numbers and the offenses started to catch up with the defenses. Again, it takes time to get these offenses gelling, especially if they don't play in the preseason. We barely saw the Packers play their starters. We saw one Dontavian Wicks touchdown, and we didn't see Jordan Love since. And then the Eagles have not played any of their starters in the preseason either. So I think that you're going to see these offenses just take some time. So if you rather look at especially like first half unders, that was a killing for the Packers last year because they couldn't do anything in the first halves of games. So if you want to make a quick buck, maybe first half unders also in play.
All right, finally moving on to Sunday, 1 o'clock, Falcons hosting the Steelers. Oh, again, this is a great slate. Week 1 schedulers, good job. This is a very exciting slate. Falcons, obviously, 3-point favorites in this one at minus 106. You've got 40.5 as the number. And then you've got on the other side, if you like Pittsburgh for the upset, plus money, plus 124. This one's a tricky one for me. You know, Mike Tomlin teams are always coached well. Russell Wilson's got a lot to prove. However, I really like this new defense and the additions they made for the Falcons. I could see, some Matthew Judon sacks here of Russell Wilson. I could see some turnovers potentially. And because of that, I'm leaning pretty heavily right now to the Atlanta side, the 3. I think they can win this one by a touchdown. What are your thoughts on this? I know it's always tough. Tomlin teams are always well prepared, but I think the energy in that Atlanta building is going to be a lot. New quarterback, new coach, new outlook on life, and some big pieces on defense. I think Atlanta's going to be rocking. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of motivation in this game for both sides because you're Arthur Smith, right? He's first game up is against his old team that fired him and didn't want him anymore. And he's the reason why all the Falcons playmakers couldn't do anything. So the Drake London, Kyle Pitts,
here's a question, Erickson. Is it the Falcons revenge game on Arthur Smith, or is it the Arthur Smith revenge game on the Falcons? I think it might be the former, not the latter.
Exactly, but I think
Kyle Pitts 3 touchdowns coming.
I mean, if they're gonna have a big game, it better be this week. If they can't show up against their old coach, who again has been ridiculed and criticized for never using his playmakers. So hey, now it's time to put up Kyle Pitts, Drake London, show how good you were and why Arthur Smith was wrong. So this one for me, I wish I could have more faith in the Falcons like you do, but it's still brand new offense, brand new quarterbacks, have not seen any of this before. So that's where I am a little bit hesitant. And it's the Steelers, right? A team that is always overmatched on paper, but it doesn't matter because they find ways to cover spreads. Again, they were 5-4 against the spread on the road and against the money line last year. So in a bunch of games they were never supposed to win or be even close to winning, they would win and cover the spread. So that's what concerns me. So for me, I'm probably just going to shy away from this game.
All right, understandably so. I'm more excited about Atlanta than Erickson is right now. Next up here, everyone's excited in Chicago about Caleb Williams, the debut at home, week 1, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Now, look, they're favored by 4.5 points here. Kind of a weird line to me. I was surprised, I got to be honest, and I am not a supporter of the Tennessee Titans. Andrew Erickson has spent a lot of time with me. He knows this. I have a ton of qualms and issues with what this team, but I'm kind of curious to want the 4.5 of the Tennessee side here on this one. The number of the total is 45. I don't think I want to go Tennessee winning outright at plus 170. That's depressing, but I could see Chicago winning this last second field goal kind of scenario. Maybe a little Caleb Williams dramatic drive here to close it out. But I think the Titans with Pollard and Spears are going to run the crap out of the football, probably drag down this total too of the 45, which again feels spot on to me. But Andrew, what do you think? Am I a little crazy here taking the Titans on the road to open the season to cover?
Well, you'd be going against everything that happened last year where they were 0-8 against the spread on the road. Never covered.
You got to establish a new season right away.
I mean, regression's going to hit eventually, right? And they don't have Derrick Henry anymore to kind of drag these games through the mud, especially on the road. The offensive line is improved from last year, and that's one of the big reasons why they struggled so much on the road last year is because their offensive line was horrible. For me, I think it's the underplay. I think that it's a way that I can fade the Caleb Williams hype in his first game. again, I can't back a rookie quarterback making his first start as a more than a field goal favorite. When's the last time we saw a rookie quarterback making his first start be this heavy as a favorite? I'd be really interested to see when the last time that's actually happened. But of course, it's only going to happen when you're facing a quarterback like Will Levis on the other side of the field. So that's kind of my thoughts on the game.
All right, next game, we have a fun matchup in the AFC South, the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Erickson. This looks like a fun matchup, certainly on paper. The number's high, 48.5. Again, coming out of the gate. This is a pretty high number for a week one. The Houston Texans are favored on the road, -2.5. The Indianapolis Colts at home, underdogs, +120. Andrew, any intrigue in this game for you?
For me, it's the over. I get that the total is already high, but we've seen these two teams last year, week 2. They combined for 51 points, and that was an Anthony Richardson versus CJ Stroud matchup. So, again, that's how I'm viewing this. When you look at these teams, what they did last year, Shane Steichen, the Colts were really bad to bet as underdogs. They did not cover when they were underdogs. They were only good when they were the favorites. And the Texans were bad bets as favorites. So I'm not picking a side here. I just think that we're going to see points. That's what I think. I think Stroud can shred this Colts defense. And I think that Richardson, back from the injury from last year with Shane Steichen, I think they're going to be able to score points against Houston. So that's how I'm playing. I just want the over. It's interesting that the Colts are the only one of two teams in week 1 that is a home underdog, the other team being the New York Giants.
Yeah, well, rightfully so. But because they're the home underdog, I am curious. That +120, I'm going to watch this one. I want to see how this one goes for the next couple of days and then revisit it maybe on Thursday for the best bets of the week to see maybe that 120 becomes a, +140 or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. If it does, I might get a little more interested. I think for me, this one, Andrew, comes down to a lot of individual props. I think this is a game that I want to look at some Nico Collins props. I want to look at some Anthony Richardson rushing props and some fun things there. Let's get to the next one here. Jacksonville, Miami. Miami at home, 3-point favorites. 49.5 is the number, +135 if you like Jacksonville. Battle of Florida, who do you like here?
I like the Dolphins. The Dolphins traditionally are a team that starts out really hot, especially in Miami. They're playing at home. Last year, they were 6-3 to start against the spread at home, and they started 4-0 against the spread through October. So I think that the Dolphins are the team to back here. I know I've seen this line move to 3.5 at this point. If it's at 3.5 with the hook, I don't like it nearly as much, but I'll take the 3 with the Dolphins.
I'm with you. I think I like it with the 3 more than 3.5. I'm still not sold on Jacksonville. I don't know. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I think, really disappointed me last year. I thought they were poised and ready to make that next leap, and they didn't. And they could very well just have been a year late, and maybe this is the year. I could easily see this being the game, too, on the slate, because that Dolphins defense is suspect to me, where we look at it and we go, oh, look at this. Turns out Miami ended up losing this game to Jacksonville because they can't stop anybody. So no matter how many points you score, you got to stop somebody from scoring too. This game to me is a bit of a stay away. Miami with the 3, I'm comfortable. I'm not comfortable with the total at all on either side. Again, it's just too early. I don't know who Jacksonville is yet offensively too. Some new pieces there for them as well. Some rookie wide receivers and whatnot. Let's go to Buffalo here for the next game. Buffalo at home, 6-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals are going to be one of my plucky teams. The number for this one is interesting, 48 flat. You have Arizona +225 on the money line for the upset. I don't think Arizona goes in and upsets Buffalo, but I do like them to cover in this game at the 6. I know their defense isn't very good. I'm not sure if Buffalo knows the identity of their offense, too. They have Keon Coleman. We don't know what he's going to be. You have Shakir and Dalton Kincaid and all these guys who've got to step up here. I think Josh Allen's going to make enough plays. I have no concerns with Buffalo winning this game. But with Marvin Harrison in tow and Trey McBride, I feel like Arizona can keep pace or potentially make up some ground in garbage time later on and actually cover this 6. You think I'm crazy here, Andrew? What do you think of this Arizona-Buffalo game?
No, this is the first game when I was going through my projections for BP that I highlighted, and I was so against the market number. I think it's way closer. I think it should be Arizona closer to 3 than 6, because I just believe in what they've done and all the improvements they've made over the past 2 seasons. Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. He covers games. 6 points against the Bills, who last year they covered under 50% of their games as favorites. They were 7-9 against the spread when they were favored to win the game. They were only 11-5 as favorites straight up. So they were dropping games last year that they should have won. Week 1 last year, they lost to the Jets. without Aaron Rodgers. So I know you didn't want to go as far as saying the Cardinals could come with the upset. I would not be surprised if, again, we're going to get some weird things happen in week 1. And if I had to bet on one of these teams to make one of those weird upsets, give me a quarterback like Kyler Murray that I think is a top 10 guy when he is healthy. So I'm back in the Cardinals all the way here.
And it's not your father's Buffalo Bills defense either. Poyer is gone,
Milano's hurt again. He's gone.
Milano's out for the year. Tremaine Edmonds was gone last year. Like, it's not the same. I think we have this vision of the Bills defense being this defense that was so good, and it was, but then it got old, and now those pieces of that leadership is gone, and I don't know if they've sufficiently replaced them yet. That's another reason why I really think this could be the sneaky cover of the week. I'm glad you see it the same way, too. Very interesting stuff there. New England and Cincinnati, the next game on our list. Ooh-wee, Andrew, looks like a tough start for our Patriots. Taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, of course, 9.5-point favorites in this one. That is a big number, but, the Patriots do have problems scoring touchdowns. 40.5 is the total, plus 330 on the New England money line. This one's a stay away for me. If anything, again, it's early in the season for 9.5. But it just kind of tells you where people think the Patriots are. I will say this, Jacoby Brissett, I think, is a very capable guy to manage games and keep you competitive if the defense can show up. That's the only reason that I would take the New England side of the 9.5, just on principle. It's a big number. It's week 1. Sometimes it takes offenses a time to get going. We don't have any, update as recording this with the Jamar Chase situation is too. I don't know if that plays a role in this game for you at all, but this, again, feels a little bit more like a stay away, a little bit more like some individual props as opposed to betting the game itself. But what do you think?
Yeah, when I was looking at this game in particular in my notes, I wrote one word and it was gross. That's my notes on this game. Like you said, the number is massive. If anything, maybe we get news that, Jamar Chase is going to miss week 1. They don't need him to win. And then you see some money coming on the Patriots. And then I would just take the better number on the Bengals because I just don't have faith right now with Jacoby Brissett under center. If they're catching or if they're trailing in this game at any point and Jacoby is taking dropbacks, 30, 40 dropbacks behind that offensive line, that's going to result in turnovers. And that's not going to help this spread. And it's going to help the Bengals cover a bigger number. So for me, it's a stay away. If Drake May was playing, I'd feel much better about backing the Patriots, to be totally honest.
Really?
But he's not. So I just think that he's going to be able to maneuver and make plays downfield. I don't think
probably,
Jacoby...
but I think Brissett is less mistake prone. Brissett showed in Cleveland that he's a good game manager. And I think if you could kind of manage this game and let's say it's like a 6-0 first half, right? Or something like that. We're just kind of plugging along. If Cincinnati comes out of the gates and blows their doors off in the first quarter, forget it. But if it's a little sluggish, if it's like a 3-0 Cincinnati lead going into the second, this is also a game where live betting it could be really intriguing too. That's one to... I would circle this game as my favorite live bet game of the week just to see how, the Bengals come out a little sluggish. Is there anything else going on here with the Chase situation? I don't know, but I want to wait and see. I don't see any early value on the look ahead.
I also do. It would be different if they were at home, the Patriots, but because they're on the road.
You just want Drake May to show up and start.
I do.
I get it. I do too. I want the future to be now as well. New Orleans, Carolina. I don't know where the future is for either of these two teams. New Orleans, 4-point favorites in this one, 40.5. But the money line for the Carolina Panthers, plus 175. Erickson, you are Mr. Panther. Is this where it begins? Is it the upset? Is it the upset special on the money line for the Panthers? Let's go.
It is. It's Carolina Panthers time. Dave Canales, you had to get in early. When you're looking at who could win Coach of the Year, right? The lowest odds, besides Andy Reid, or Dennis Allen, because nobody thinks he's going to even survive the season. When you look at some of the shortest odds to win, it's Dave Canales. So I'm looking at this as an advantage. Again, you have two teams in the NFC South, the worst division in football, two teams that are probably going to come under the projected totals for their offenses. So it's a close scoring game between two divisional rivals. Dave Canales has experience against the Saints defense. He's faced Dennis Allen before. He knows what he's working up against. So for me, I think this is easily Carolina. Look, last year, the Saints, their first 5 games against the spread at home last year, 0-5. They didn't cover a single spread till their 6th game at home. So I think Carolina covers, and I think you want the most bang for your buck, just take Carolina on the money line. Get Dennis Allen on the hot seat early.
New Orleans was a team that struggled in the red zone, Andrew, last year a ton. I watched Derek Carr constantly struggling in the red zone.
Well, that's why I got Taysom Hill now. So
that's it. There you go, more Taysom Hill. But you know what else? I think there's early value here already at the plus 175. I would also argue watch this because I'm sure a lot of new money and people betting for the first time, states open up, people just trying their hand in it for the first time. You know what? People are going to see the New Orleans Saints. They're at home. They're going to bet the Saints. Oh, Panthers are always terrible. I would not be shocked if this number gets to plus 200, plus 210, plus 225 by the time you get to Sunday. Watch this one carefully. I do think it's going to move. Also, another thing you want to make sure you're tracking, not just this, but you want to track all your bets, not just that game I'm talking about. And at BettingPros, we have the systems here that are designed to help you find winning trends and make smarter bets. You can create and customize your own betting system by sport, bet type, time frame, and even more to find the most profitable betting opportunities. Our systems track profitability for bets across MLB, NFL, college football, NBA, you name it, we can do it. Download and use the BettingPros app today to find the profitable betting systems right now. And again, make sure you sync all your sportsbooks for free when you download the BettingPros app. Next game, the Minnesota Vikings. No JJ McCarthy this year. New York Giants at home. Now, they are underdogs +1, so this is practically a pick'em here for you. 41.5 is the number. You're getting even money on the Giants at home on the money line. Can the Giants sneak one out here at home for even money, Andrew?
I think they can. So for
too.
me, it's the Giants. They're playing at home. Do I think the Vikings are that vastly superior of a team to the New York Giants? Yes, they have the best receiver in the NFL on their team, but everything else is a wash. And you look at defensively, the Vikings have nobody. So I think Malik Neighbors is set up for a massive game in week 1. I'm going to be looking at his props. I think they're going to just be low out the gates because he's a rookie making his first start. I think that he's going to have a monster game. He's going to see a lot of opportunities. Look, last year, as bad as the Giants were, 6th best team against the spread at home, 5-2-1. So the expectations for the Giants are rock bottom, especially in the New York media. Everyone, oh my God, he threw a pick 6, even though other players throw pick 6 in preseason games. Trey Lance threw 5 interceptions in a preseason game, but no, Daniel Jones, we only care about his pick 6. So I think the Giants
it was pretty bad. It was out of his own end zone too, where he could have just taken the safety.
But he also had a bunch of good throws in that game too, but nobody cares because they just care about the one. So I think that
because Daniel Jones has a history of turning the football over at an alarming rate. He led the league in fumbles a couple years ago. Let's not forget that.
Sam Darnold would be up there too, but he hasn't been able to play because he's not a starter.
I mean, do either of those two guys have any good memories between them in that building?
No.
Probably not.
It's a house of horrors for both teams.
It's a terrible building too. I mean, like, I live in Jersey. I'm telling you, it's one of the worst buildings to see any concert event. It's terrible. It's no good. The corridors are bad. The food is mid. No good. I will say this. I agree. I think the Giants pull one out, and I could see the Giants winning this one. Everybody getting super hyped and then like losing 5 in a row. I think
their schedule gets much harder after this game.
All right. Sorry, Giant fans. And sorry, Vikings fans. Let's get to Denver, Seattle here for this next one. Bo Nix, starting quarterback. He is an underdog in this one. The number is 5.5. Seattle, I think, has a lot to prove here. 41.5 is the number for this one. Plus 200 on the money line for the Denver Broncos as we get into the 4:00 games here for Sunday. Look, Andrew, my gut instinct says, yeah, let's let Denver cover. But rookie quarterback on the road, like, I know he played his college football, in the Pacific Northwest, but I don't think it's going to be as kind to him. I just don't know if I feel comfortable with Seattle right now covering 5.5 against anybody because I don't know the identity of this new team with the new head coach. Therefore, this game is kind of like a giant stay away from me. And the 41.5 is kind of a low number too. Maybe the under on this one. Maybe. Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, this one seems like it's going to go down to the wire where the Seahawks win, but Denver gets that backdoor cover because they just keep Bo Nix in the game and they're continuing to throw the ball. Even though they
17-13, right? I mean, doesn't it feel like that? It just kind of, I don't know.
Especially you have a defensive-minded head coach with the Seattle Seahawks. Again, they need to win by 6 points. So how aggressive are they going to be on offense, knowing that they're facing a rookie quarterback and they have a defensive-minded head coach? Do they need to go pedal to the metal? They need to score. The only way we can beat the Broncos and Bo Nix is if we score 30 points. That's probably not what they're game planning for. It's probably, hey, we're going to play solid defense, we're going to create turnovers, and we're going to score in situations and get the lead and run the ball in the second half of the game. So I think, this game could be pretty low scoring and something that I probably stay away from the spreads just because I don't believe in Seattle's offense to score a ton of points, and Bo Nix making his first start on the road. Again, if I had to pick a team, it would be Seattle just because I want to bet against rookies making their first start, especially a guy like Bo Nix, who I think has gotten hyped up a lot from the preseason, where we've seen before preseason doesn't always carry over to the NFL regular season.
That is very true. This next game, Andrew, might be my favorite one on the slate. And you might say, why? It doesn't sound very appealing. Los Angeles Chargers are hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. 3.5-point favorites are the Chargers. It's not like this is a home field advantage for them. I know Harbaugh's there now, but like he's not taking all the old players from Michigan with him. That defense is still terrible. There's no Aiden Hutchinson on this defense. I'm sorry. 42.5 is the number for the over-under. I like Vegas straight up on the money line, plus 150. To me, my head goes right there. You've got Devontae Adams. You've got Minshew. You've got enough here. I like Zamir White, what he's done last year. I don't think we have clarity of how this offense is going to run. We have Herbert working from behind because of the plantar fascia injury. I know he's getting up to speed now, but look, if you want to play it safe, it's the 3.5 with the Raiders to cover. At minus 115, I think that's a great bet. Very steady bet this week. But if you want to have a little bit more fun, straight up on the money line, plus 150. Andrew, do you see this differently than me?
This is what I was going back and forth because I was really looking at the two coaches, essentially. So Antonio Pierce against Harbaugh, and I know Harbaugh is the better coach. At least that's what I think, at least heading into this game.
Oh,
so
sure.
I have trouble.
He's coached in a Super Bowl. He's won national championships. It's not a knock on Pierce. Pierce just he's not a seasoned coach yet. He was a good player, very solid player, good leader, showed you some moments last year, big win in Kansas City, but of course.
So that's where I'm hesitant because I think that Harbaugh really can change the tides for the Chargers, who are a team. If you've been betting on the Chargers, you may not have a house anymore after the last couple of years, essentially. But I feel like we could see the tides change with now Harbaugh entering the fold as the Chargers head coach. So I guess I don't want to chase last year so much with Pierce, where the Raiders were really good against the spread when he was the head coach, when he took over as interim, because there were no expectations. But now, are we getting more expectations from the Raiders? Is he going to have a Dan Campbell-esque type of impact where we're really not sure? Is this more of a rah-rah guy? Well, Dan Campbell obviously delivered and is now regarded as one of the best coaches in the NFL. Is Antonio Pierce going to follow a similar path? I don't know. I'm skeptical if he's going to do that. So this one for me, I kind of want to see and watch these two teams. Is Pierce, what that we saw last year, is that more of a mirage and this Raiders team is just bad and the Chargers are going to be better coached, they have better players on offense? So for me, I just kind of want to watch this game.
I will say this. I think you are being very practical and you are making a lot of good logical arguments. What I'm going to say is this. As you said, if you keep betting on the Chargers, things have not worked out for you. I don't think you can turn it around that quickly. It's an in-division, very important game. I think Las Vegas, defensively too, has a lot to offer in terms of pass rush these days. And I think when you have a quarterback that's not quite 100% dealing with a foot issue, that could also lead to some turnovers and some problems there potentially. So I don't think that house that Harbaugh is trying to build there is going to be built in a day. And I got to say, this is my favorite, lock it in upset of the week. I am running to this game. Put it with a couple other boring money lines in the parlay machine, and I think you could do very well for yourself.
I do agree that the minus 3.5 with the Raiders is definitely the
that's
best
the
bet.
safe. Oh, that's the safe one. One of the best. But you know me. I'm gonna go a little push the envelope.
We gotta get Moneyline Monaco. We gotta figure out what his take is if he's taking.
Yeah, we gotta get Monaco back on the show. But look, you can make sure you're following all of our bets too. I'll be logging mine over the weekend too. I'm always waiting for as long as I can to start logging mine before the week starts. But you can follow us at bettingpros.com/Joe/Erickson to see what we're betting on this week. And I can assure you, I'll be betting this. Dallas Cowboys head to Cleveland. Maybe, hopefully, they can make that flight. I don't know what the weight restrictions are on that flight with all that money that CeeDee Lamb has to pack in his suitcase now. They are 2.5-point underdogs, though, to the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. I know Dallas can be a little soft sometimes. 42.5 is the number, plus 120 for the Dallas money line. Again, I'm taking the points with Dallas right here. I'm not even thinking twice about this. I am a very tough critic of Dallas, but I have zero faith in the Cleveland Browns right now. They've got to prove it to me. Andrew, where do you stand with this game?
Yeah, I think it's clearly Dallas as the play, and that's what scares me because it seems like the value is so clearly there.
I just want to go the 2.5, just cover, because even if you lose by a point or whatever, okay, fine. I'm not going to be miserable, but you're right. It almost feels too good to be true.
It does. When I open up the lines for the first time, really took a deep dive, I'm trying to figure out, so wait, why are the Browns favorites in this game? Deshaun Watson is going to start after he's missed so much time. What is the status of his shoulder?
Against that defense, no less.
We have no idea. So
Ugh.
These two teams is interesting because these were the two teams last year that both went 8-1 at home. So both very, very good home teams. So I think that's what the market is playing, how good the Browns were at home last year and how we saw Dallas lay eggs every once in a while when they were away from AT&T Stadium. So that's kind of where I'm seeing where money is coming in on the Cleveland Browns. But when I'm just looking at the rosters, I can't bring myself to back Cleveland here. I think their defense might regress a little bit after they were just so amazing last year. And Dallas has a good defense too. So yeah, like you said, I think the value is on Dallas, but I am terrified because they aren't favored in this game. And yeah.
Next one on the docket, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home against Washington. The Commanders are putting their prize possession out there to start. Jaden Daniels. I'm super excited for this game. From a fantasy standpoint, from a wagering standpoint, it's a little tough to gauge for me. Tampa 3.5-point favorites. Okay, cool. Like that sounds good. The hook makes me want to go on Washington, but not enough. 43 is the total. That sounds about right to me also. Plus 150 for Washington upset. That's the way to make money on this game is just Washington on the money line coming out and Jane Daniels just smoking dudes. But it is on the road and a rookie quarterback on the road for the first time. To me, this game is stay away, watch, entertaining, maybe some individual props, but I don't see any early value on it. Do you?
I do like the over in this game. I
Okay.
think that it's two defenses that I'm not concerned about their secondaries whatsoever. And I think Jaden Daniels with that mobility I think he's going to have some flash plays in this game. And again, I can't back Tampa Bay. You look at the Buccaneers last year, another team that was really good when they were underdogs, when there was no expectations for the Buccaneers entering a game, but when they were favored, they didn't perform well. Underdogs have won 5 of the last 7 Buccaneers games. So like you said, the best way to make money in this game is on the Washington Commanders money line, but rookie quarterback making his first start on the road. Let's wait and see.
Sunday Night Football, another playoff rematch here. The Lions hosting the Rams again. Now, the Lions are 3.5-point favorites in this one. The number is pretty high, 51 here out of the gate, plus 150 on the money line for the Rams. I like the Rams to cover here. I feel good about Detroit winning this game, but, expectations are going to be high. Maybe come out a little flat. I don't know. The building's going to be rocking. You know that. The Lions fans are really feeling like they have a chance to win a Super Bowl. And I don't remember the last time the Lions fans went into a season with that kind of feeling. So what do you make of this one? I'm kind of on the Rams side. I do think Detroit wins, but I like the points with the Rams. Your thoughts?
Yeah, especially at 3.5, they lose by a field goal, they cover. I think that's
Exactly.
probably the best case scenario. And especially with the Rams, where their biggest problem, I think, season long is can they have all their key pieces stay healthy? And you'd think week 1, well, this is when they're most healthy. You have Stafford, you have Kupp, you have Nakua, you have the running backs, you have everybody ready to go versus what's going to happen in week 8, week 9. So if you're going to bet on the Rams, I think this is the time to do so because all their guys are healthy.
Last one, Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers, can he make it out of the first series? We'll see, against the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, this is like kind of if you're Aaron Rodgers and you haven't played all preseason, do you really want to see the 49ers pass rush as like the first thing out of the gate? I don't know if that's the best situation. Again, has not played a snap in the preseason. I don't understand it. Whatever. The 49ers, 3.5-point favorites. That doesn't seem like enough to me. I feel like we're getting way too much credit to Aaron Rodgers and this defense and Robert Saleh to go on the road. And I have my qualms and concerns about the 49ers this year. Teams with Super Bowl hangovers tend not to play very well. 43.5 is the number. Plus 164 for the Jets upset. I'm taking San Francisco with the points here at 3.5. I don't know. Am I missing something here? I know they're a team that lost in the Super Bowl. I just think they're completely overmatched the Jets in just about every facet of the game. I just don't see this one. I don't get it. If this was in New York, maybe I'd feel differently, but it's not. It's in San Fran. You got to travel across the country. I don't know. I don't like it.
But Aaron Rodgers is going home, man. He's going home.
Is this the revenge for them not drafting him 20 years ago?
That's how he's going to spin it after the game. I'm on the Jets side here. For me, it's about how overrated the 49ers are at home. They were favored in every single game at home last year by double digits, and they never covered. 3-7. Fourth worst against the spread at home last year. I think the Super Bowl hangover is going to kick in week 1. I don't think it's going to be one of these, you wake up, you feel good, and then 11 o'clock hits, and then you start to have those headaches. I think it's going to be the 49ers wake up week 1 and be like, oh my God, this is a Super Bowl hangover, and it's going to happen in week 1. So I'm actually on the Jets side here.
I don't think it's going to be week 1. I think it'll be fine. I think they will handle the Jets. That's just me. And the Jets have a very good defense. Breece Hall is terrific. Wilson's terrific. He hasn't played football in a year, Andrew, and he's already 40-something years old. Dude, I get up, I'm 40-something. I get up and things hurt, and I don't even know why. I can't imagine, like, he just goes into this game and hits the ground running and looks great with that offense right away. I think it's going to take some time for the Jets to kind of get up to speed, maybe even a couple quarters of football before they start to look good. I don't know, Andrew. I can't. I'm so glad we're on opposite ends of this one. I love that because that's going to make Monday Night Football very fun when we go in and watch it together. And make sure you're with us all season long here on the Betting Pros channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to Betting Pros wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop your comments below. What are your favorite picks of the week? We love to hear from you. And ring that bell till it goes ding for notifications so you know every time a piece of content drops. We have 5 shows a week every weekday here. Unbelievable. Because you demanded it. We're going to keep giving you more of Betting Pros. We went to like 2 shows and 3 shows last year. Now we're at 5. So thanks for coming on this journey with us. It's going to be a fun NFL season. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Andrew Erickson, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Happy football.